We are exactly 22 days out from President Trump's planned face-to-face meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un after threats from North Korea about the possibility of pulling out. It seems President Trump himself may be having second thoughts. The New York Times reports the president is, quote, increasingly concerned his summit meeting in Singapore next month could turn into a political embarrassment. James Carafano, senior research fellow at the Heritage Foundation and leading expert in national security and foreign policy challenges, joins me now. It's good to have you. Is the president right to be worried?
Look, I don't know if the president is worried, and I don't, know the veracity of the news report. Would I be worried if I were the president? And my answer would be no. I never thought that we were on an escalatory path and it was diplomacy or war. I think the diplomacy should run its course. What's the worst that could happen? They could go and shake hands. They could go and have a Reykjavik moment where they could put a big deal on the table and walk away. That just means they'll come back and be more diplomacy. I think we put too much fixation on this particular meeting. Diplomacy is a continuum.
Well, but he's also put a lot of attention on it. He's talked about the fact that, a lot of people, I think the way he phrased it was that most people or people seem to think he should be considered for the Nobel Prize. He doesn't want to say that, but he has often quoted other people as saying that. He has put an awful lot of attention on this.
Well, yeah, the president has also said, and he was very clear, that if it's a bad deal, we'll walk away, and if there's no deal, we'll walk away. So he's said that as well. So
should he go?
Well, sure. I mean, I think diplomacy's fine. Look, I think the fact that we're doing this, I just think demonstrates what many of us argued from day one, is that we were never on some kind of linear path toward conflict. And these negotiations are not about derailing World War III. These negotiations are about negotiating with the North Koreans. The North Koreans are very squirrely to negotiate with. Anybody that thinks negotiating with the North Koreans is anything but a roller coaster is just kind of nuts. So it's just a diplomatic effort. It runs its course. What's important is not what happens in the negotiation. It's the underlying strategy which protects U.S. interests, which is maximum pressure. And the important thing is that the president keep maximum pressure, nuclear deterrence, missile defense, conventional deterrence, sanctions, keeps those in place until North Korea is no longer a threat to the United States.
We've also heard from John Bolton, and the National Security Advisor has been telling some of his colleagues, according to the Washington Post, that if the summit that he doesn't trust the summit will not go well. I mean, he certainly isn't alone in thinking you can't trust the North Koreans, nor can you trust Kim Jong-un. Whatever, even if they have the meeting and they come to some quote-unquote meeting of the minds, what's to say they're going to follow through with it? Is John Bolton, if indeed he is concerned about that, right?
Well, of course, it's a very legitimate concern. The North Koreans have played, rope-a-dope before. And I think, look, the administration has wargamed what are the likely things here. They can come and they can play rope-a-dope. The North Koreans can come and say, let's do something small. Let's do some incremental steps. They can come and put a big deal on the table. Or they can come and walk away in a huff. I mean, it's not magic to figure out what are the possible scenarios there. But the point is as long as our underlying strategy is the same, the fate of one particular meeting in Singapore isn't really very significant.
James Carafano from the Heritage Foundation, thank you for that.